The movie opens with a flashback to the first movie, where Gandalf and the Balrog are fighting on the bridge of Khazad-dûm. However, this time, the action is shown from Gandalf's point of view, following the two as they descend and fight while in free fall. After waking up from his dream, Frodo resumes his quest with Sam, his dependable and devoted buddy. Then, Gollum, who is possessed by a ring, attacks them in an attempt to get back his precious from whoever he believes took it. With the help of Sam's elven rope, which the elven elder Galadriel gave him in Lorien, the hobbits manage to overpower and bind him. Sam is suspicious of Gollum and wants to get rid of him, but Frodo feels sorry for him since he understands how burdensome the creature is. Gollum agrees to bring them to the Black Gate of Mordor once Frodo realizes they have vanished in the Emyn Muil and require a guide. With Merry and Pippin as its captives, the pack of Uruk-hai runs across the grassy terrain of Rohan. After 3 days of running, Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli are pursuing the hobbits. Legolas believes they are being brought to Isengard, where Saruman is gathering his Uruk-hai armies to carry out Sauron's orders. King Theoden is physically and intellectually feeble in the kingdom of Rohan, the home of the Horse Lords, as a result of the sorcery of Grima Wormtongue, his steward, who is surreptitiously working for Saruman. Incited by Saruman, the wild men and orcs of Dunland roam the land freely, murdering everyone they come across, including Theodred, the king's only son. When Éomer, Theoden's nephew, discovers that Grima is now a Saruman agent and that he has lustful eyes for Éomer's sister Éowyn, he becomes furious and interrogates Grima. After Éomer challenges Grima's authority and gets banished, he sets out to find the Rohirrim's surviving devoted men across the country. Walking through the dead marshes with Sam, Frodo dodges a newly seated ringwraith on his flying falling beast and passes the undead fallen heroes of the Second Age that haunt the marshes. When they eventually arrive at the fiercely guarded Black Gate, they see Easterlings from Rhûn arriving to bolster the garrison. Gollum shows them a less dangerous route. Sam is still skeptical, but Frodo gives him the benefit of the doubt. As dusk falls, Éomer and his Rohirrim ambush and destroy every orc and Uruk-hai that are imprisoning the two hobbits. Merry and Pippin, during the battle, barely escape their captors by running into the trees, where the oldest of the Ents. Later, Éomer runs across Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli. He informs Aragorn that no one survived the massacre of orcs and Uruk-hai. Using his tracking abilities, Aragorn locates hobbit trails leading into the neighboring Fangorn woodland after he arrives at the battle site. The trio comes into a wizard who, in the end, turns out to be Gandalf Reborn, better known as Gandalf the White. After that, the four set out for Edoras, where they banish Wormtongue and free King Theoden from Saruman's control. When Theoden learns that his son has died, he chooses to escape to Helm's Deep, a sizable castle that has historically protected the Rohan people from harm rather than risk an all-out conflict. When Éowyn becomes attracted to Aragorn on the way to Helm's Deep, Gandalf departs in search of Éomer and his Rohirrim, vowing to return in 5 days. After Wormtongue escapes to Orthanc and informs Saruman that Rohan has broken free of their control, Saruman resolves to wipe out Rohan. Gollum fights his dual nature in Ithilien, trying to make friends with Sam and Frodo before banishing his evil side. The two hobbits see a southern ambush but are captured by Gondoran soldiers. Meanwhile, Saruman's wargs and his orc riders ambush the travelers en route to Helm's Deep. Aragorn is dragged by a warg during the battle, falling over a cliff into a rushing river while the heartbroken survivors painfully make their way to Helm's Deep. Elrond persuades Arwen to depart for the Grey Havens because there is no longer any hope for the elves at Rivendell, knowing that their age is drawing to an end. After Elrond tells her a prophecy, she unwillingly decides to depart because she knows that even if she waits for Aragorn to defeat Sauron and ascend to the throne of Gondor, he would still die of old age. Arwen will suffer greatly after he passes away, and she will be left to wither away. In another scene, Sam and Frodo are transported to Hen Anûn and shown to Faramir, Boromir's younger brother. After eluding capture, Gollum unwittingly falls into a trap set by Frodo to preserve his life. After learning of the One Ring, Faramir decides that Gondor will receive the ring in an effort to win his father over. Aragorn washes up on the riverbank in Rohan, where his horse Brego gently nudges him back to consciousness. He rides to Helm's Deep, passing Saruman's army of Uruk-hai, which is at least 10,000 strong, battered but unfazed. Relief at his arrival is fleeting, however, as word soon spreads that there are only 300 soldiers remaining in the citadel. A regiment of Lorien elves, commanded by the elf Haldir, arrives to help in the ensuing fight in the middle of despair. Merry, Pippin, Treebeard, and other Ents convene in Fangorn Forest to decide the Ents' duties in Saruman's battle. The Battle of Helm's Deep commences in the pouring rain with a barrage of arrows from elven and human archers dispatching scores of Uruk-hai. The Yurks charge the defenders as scaling ladders are positioned atop the deeping wall. The enemy gradually breaches the barriers and uses a crude explosive device that Saruman made to blow up the wall through its sewage drain. The Uruk-hai succeed in breaking through the main door despite Aragorn and Gimli's best attempts, and the stronghold is quickly taken over. Haldir is killed in the middle of the fight, and the few elves that are left retreat back into the keep. But the Yurks have also scaled the walls and broken through the gate in the Hornberg, driving the defenders within the keep. Treebeard and the other Ents in Fangorn have made the decision to stay out of the fight. Pippin, frustrated, uses cunning to lead him to the area of the Fangorn forest that Saruman had destroyed close to Isengard. Enraged at Saruman's betrayal, Treebeard orders the other Ents to seek retribution. The last march of the Ents is the journey that the Ents take together. In the meantime, Aragorn and the others mount one last valiant ride on horseback to confront the Uruk-hai army in a desperate attempt to free the Rohirrim women and children, comprehending Gandalf's words before he left and finding the keep under attack. Gandalf, Éomer, and 2,000 horsemen of the Rohirrim come to drive the Uruk-hai back into the recently arriving Horns woodland outside of Helm's Deep, just as the horsemen are besieged and everything appears lost. In other places, the Ents assault Isengard as well, hurling boulders and stones and rupturing a dam to inundate the area around it. Enraged at Saruman's betrayal, Treebeard orders the other Ents to seek retribution. The last march of the Ents is the journey that the Ents take together. In the meantime, Aragorn and the others mount one last valiant ride on horseback to confront the Uruk-hai army in a desperate attempt to free the Rohirrim women and children, comprehending Gandalf's words before he left and finding the keep under attack. Gandalf, Éomer, and 2,000 horsemen of the Rohirrim come to drive the Uruk-hai back into the recently arriving Horns woodland outside of Helm's Deep, just as the horsemen are besieged and everything appears lost. In other places, the Ents assault Isengard as well, hurling boulders and stones and rupturing a dam to inundate the area around it.